Right, good morning, Year 5. Back for another episode of The Firework-Maker's Daughter. Now, last time, that was the end of chapter 2, we were on this scene where Lila, she had set off on her journey to find Mount Merapi, and she had come across this vast, what seemed to be like an ocean, and she had to get to the other side. Now, she was met by a sight, which were these, I think it was something like 12 men who were on some sort of small boat, who offered her to offer her a lift over to the other side, almost like a taxi service. When she got on, obviously there seemed to be pirates, not taxi service people. But the funny thing was, these people weren't exactly very intimidating. They didn't seem dangerous. And that's where we last left off. So it's chapter 3. Rambashi, the pirate, and his pirates managed to get the bloody murderer to the other bank of the river, but Lila had to fish another oar out of the water when one of them dropped it and promised to sit still and not joggle the boat. When they hit the bank, everyone fell off their seats. "All right," said Rambashi, picking himself up. "Tie the boat to a good bit of tree or something and take the prisoner ashore." "Are we going to eat her?" asked one of the pirates, "'cause I'm hungry." "Yes, we've had nothing to eat for days," grumbled another. "You promised we'd have a hot meal every evening." "That's enough of that," said Rambashi. "You're a pack of scurvy dogs. Take the prisoner up to the cave and stop complaining." Lila wasn't sure if she could run away just yet. Some of those pirates did look fierce enough to run after her. Though now she looked more closely, she saw their daggers were made of wood wrapped in silver paper, so they wouldn't be able to do much of damage. So, what does that mean? So, we already have an idea of what the pirates are like. They seem a little bit silly. They don't exactly know. I mean, they're pirates, but they don't seem to be very comfortable at sea either. So we've got that, and now that she can tell that a dagger Daggers being made out of wood, of all things. Would that be very useful, dagger? Made out of wood? And it's wrapped in silver paper, so that what? So it would look like as if it were real daggers. So what does that tell you about these pirates? And do you actually think Lila's in any sort of danger? That's something to consider. "I hope you don't mind this little transaction," Rambashi said, as they walked along a jungle trail. "It's purely business." "Have you kidnapped me, then?" asked Lila. "I'm afraid so. You're going to have to hand over all your money in a minute, and then we'll tie you up and hold you ransom." "Have you done it before?" "Oh, yes," he said, "lots of times." Now, for those who aren't sure what a ransom is, it's a sum of money that you have to pay in order to release a prisoner. So, for example, if you were captured by pirates and they asked for ransom, they would go to your parents and say, "Pay me this much, and I'll let your son, your daughter go." "What happens when you don't get any money?" "Well, we eat you," said the hungry pirate. "Shh," said Rambashi, waving his hand vaguely. "You're not cannibals," said Lila. "We're blue and hungry," said the pirate. "Have you always been pirates?" "No," said Rambashi. "I used to keep hens, chickens, but they all died of melancholy. So I sold the business and bought the boat." "Oh no! Shh! Stop! Don't do that!" The last pirates in the line, still grumbling, bumped into those in front, who stood behind Rambashi, transfixed with fear. For there, on the path ahead of them, was a tiger. It swung its tail lazily from side to side and raised its golden eyes at them, then opened its mouth and roared so loudly that Lila thought the very earth was shaking. One of the smallest pirates put his hand in hers. Oh. Now, just before I continue, have you had a think about where this story is set? Because here's the few clues that we had. We had, let's see, we had the fact that there are elephants. the fact that people wear bamboo hats, the fact that they use the currency, which is rupees. And also, your last task should have helped you out because this is where she's going, where Lila's going, is to Mount Merapi. Now, Merapi is an actual real life mountain, so that might help you understand. And now there's a tiger, so these are all clues as to where this story might be set. So there they stood, and the tiger was just gathering his strength to spring when Lila suddenly remembered her self-igniting crackle dragons. She took her hand back from the small pirate and reached into her bag and took out the 3 she'd brought with her. Mind, she said to Rambashi, and pulled the string of the first one, and she threw the firework in front of the tiger. The mighty beast had never been so surprised in his life. First one, then another, then yet another crackle dragon snapped and flashed and sparked and leapt at him. And that was too much. With a whimper, the tiger turned and fled. So we've got a picture right there of the mighty tiger, and that's Lila throwing her crackle dragons right at it. I'm sure he would. I probably would have been surprised as well. The pirates cheered. "Magnificent!" cried Rambashi. "Congratulations! I was about to stab him to death, of course, but never mind." Lila wondered how he would have done that with his silver paper covered knife, but she didn't say anything. "And of course," Rambashi went on, "this changes everything. We can't keep you hostage if you've just saved our lives. You'll have to be our guest instead. Stay with us overnight. Why don't you?" "We've got no food," said someone. "What's she going to eat?" "We'll send Chang out to catch some fish," said Rambashi cheerfully, shaking his head at the protest that arose. No, fish is good for you. Go on, Chang. Don't just stand there." "I can't," said Chang. "Look." They looked at the riverbank. The bloody murderer, the boat, was drifting away, with the painter drifting in the water. "Who tied it up?" said Rambashi, or who didn't. One of the pirates looked down and tried to rub a hole in the ground with his big toe. Said Rambashi. "Fine pirates you are. I hope you're ashamed. But never mind, I've got a better idea. Miss," he said to Lila, rubbing his hands. There was a bright gleam in his eye. "Can I interest you in a little investment?" "Well," Lila said, "I ought to be getting on." "No, really, this is a much better idea than piracy," Rambashi said. "It came to me in a flash, just as I saw the boat floating away. I can't be cross with those fellows. They're like children, really." "Yes, all my best ideas come in a flash, and this one's a corker. Can't fail." "Is there any food in it?" said a pirate sourly. "My dear boy, it's built on food. Just wait till you hear. I say, miss, just a little money, the safest investment you'll ever make." Now, for those who might not understand what an investment is, it means you're borrowing money from someone else, and you're saying, if you give me a little bit of money, I'll make more money out of it, and I'll pay you back more than you actually gave me in the first place. So he's asking to borrow some money off her. But Lila had walked away. As she went along the path, she could hear his voice behind her. "No, listen, boys. I know where we went wrong last time. I saw it in a flash. But this is an idea that will suit your talents down to the ground. Look, let me draw you a picture." Lila would have liked to know what Rambashi's next plan was, but she was eager to hurry on. Mount Merapi was smoking and rumbling in the distance. She felt her heart lift when she saw it again, so powerful and dominating, and she thought, "I belong to that mountain, and it belongs to me." Now, my question is, why do you think she might be thinking those thoughts? She said it looked the mountain. It's a Mount Merapi. You'll find out is an actual volcano. She described it as powerful and dominating. Why do you think she thought that the mountain belonged to her and vice versa, that she belonged to the mountain? What does that tell us about what Lila thinks of herself? And on she went, with no other thoughts in her mind but that, an excitement putting a spring in her step. Now we're going to stop it there. We're roughly halfway through chapter 3. Actually, we might be a little bit further away, but that's why I'm going to stop it for today. Next time we'll find out what Chulak's up to. But things to consider. What do you think is going to happen to Lila? Because obviously she's on her way to find the royal sulfur from Mount Merapi, but we find out that she doesn't know a very crucial information, and it's the fact that she needs protection um, from the fire, the really hot fires of Mount Merapi, and she might actually end up dying. So that's something to consider. What will happen? Will Chulak get there in time to warn her? We'll see you next time.